Hey viewers, George here, do first impression of talking a bit on Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby special demo. So I was lucky enough to get into the special demo that Nintendo was handing out, which is really cool. And the thing about Ruby and Sapphire is, those were like the last Pokemon games that I really enjoyed. X and Y was okay, Diamond and Pearl was alright. I didn't play Black and White or Black and White 2. But I definitely really enjoyed Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald a lot, and of course, you know, Gold, Silver, and Crystal, and Blue, Red, and Yellow. You know, I really enjoy those games compared to the other ones. Probably might be some sort of nostalgia value to it. But regardless, when I heard that they were going to do a remake of Ruby and Sapphire, I was really excited because I really liked those games. Those were like the last ones I really enjoyed. So, to try this demo to get to see what I can expect from the full game was definitely really exciting. And that's the key point here, is this demo is not so much what you, like a taste of the story or like anything that you'll really see in the full game content-wise, but more so technical aspects, how they're executing various things in this remake, more so in that general idea, opposed to how faithful the remake's going to be to the original, what you can expect story-wise, and what have you. So, the demo has us, opens up with you riding on one of those legendary birds whose names escape me for some reason. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it and fail miserably. But you're riding in with this guy named Steven, who I can't remember if he was in Ruby and Sapphire. It's been such a long time since I've played those games. But I have a feeling he was in it. Anyways, you're riding to Moss Deep City on the back of the bird. And when you get there, you find out that Team Magma has stolen some research notes from the space center that's on Moss Deep Island, and not only that, but has discovered a location of a Pokemon that can use the Mega Evolutions, which of course was something that was introduced in X and Y. And if you've seen any of the trailers for it, you know that they're gonna be bringing those in, which is definitely really cool because the Mega Evolutions were definitely an interesting idea, and it's really good to see that they're sticking with it. It wasn't just some sort of one-note thing that they're kind of like, yeah, let's not do it anymore. They're keeping it and expanding on it because there's more Pokemon that actually use it now. That, from what I can recall, when I played X and Y. Anyways, so you find Team Magma, who have located this Pokemon. You face off with some of them and some of Team Aqua. You get to choose one of the 3 starters' second evolution forms, and then you battle, and then you get to capture the Pokemon that has the Mega Evolution form, which is what's the Pokemon? Glacier, something like that. It's Glacier's the one. What it is, and you get to capture it with a Pokeball. And you get to, of course, see its Mega Evolution. You get to see the Mega Evolution of the starters that are from that generation. A lot of cool things there. And after you've done that, you can constantly replay the game to battle trainers, try and, use the Pokemon a little bit more, and kind of just enjoy it, really. And you get to find more items that you can transfer over to when you get the full game. So, like, whenever I get the full game, the Pokemon that I caught Glacier, I get to transfer him over to my full game, and I get to have a Pokemon who's, I believe, when you capture him, he's at level 30 or level 35, somewhere around there. plus any leveling up you do with them, which is of course what you want to probably constantly pound that out to them. And of course you get the Mega Stone as well, so that way you can use the Mega Evolution with them. As far as I know, that's what it's telling me from my understanding. So that's really cool that the special demo comes with some extra perks with it, which is really nice. Of course we expect that because Pokemon has done that with the last thing they had, which was the Pokemon Bank, which no one fucking used, of course. But if you had X and Y, you got... Was it Selby you got to transfer over? I think it was definitely Selby in X and Y, which is obviously a really cool thing, and like gives some purpose to downloading it and then just getting rid of it afterwards. That's the Pokemon Bank. But yeah, so the demo. So beyond like the little story, we're definitely getting hints of what we can expect as new additions to it, which of course is the Mega Evolutions becoming a central theme in it as well. Or maybe it might just be a side theme, but it'll exist, so it's like the original plot plus the Mega Evolutions. And of course, if you've seen the trailers for, pretty sure the trailer I'm going to use in this video has it where it's, what do they call it? It's like Primal Forms or something like that, which seems to be another kind of Mega Evolution, but maybe for more ancient or legendary-based Pokemon. Just another concept that he seemed to be throwing in there to kind of make the Pokemon look cooler. Which, guys, the Pokemon look cool to begin with. Even if it's just a fucking chandelier, it's still really cool looking. The ice cream Pokemon, I love it. I don't care. But that seems to be the general idea. Is with these remakes, I can definitely see them remaking some more of the older games and adding the Mega Evolutions, perhaps, in between, the new games, which definitely seems to be the case of what they're doing with recent times. That seems to be the basic idea. Tech-wise, if you played X and Y, you can definitely expect a lot of that to be transferring over. They use the 3D models within the battles. Everything's just updated. The music, it sounds a lot like what was in Ruby and Sapphire. It doesn't sound like anything was being reused from X and Y. It sounds like they took the music that was in Ruby and Sapphire, they updated it, because of course, like, you might as well update it if you're updating everything else. And it just sounds phenomenal. It's like, it's still it's amazing because even though the music's updated, it's, using full orchestra and whatnot compared to with the Game Boy Advance game, where it was all emulations with what they had available to use. It still sounds so reminiscent of that. It's amazing how close they made it so it sounds identical to it, but of course it's still very much updated. But it's hard to describe. I mean, like, George, of course it's going to sound identical, that's the point of it. But I mean, like, it sounds really fucking the same thing is what I'm trying to get at, but of course it isn't. I don't know if it's making any more sense than what I'm trying to, but it sounds phenomenal. And just listening to it kind of gave me that rush of nostalgia, which is great. That's what I was really looking for when with the remake of Ruby and Sapphire, because that's my jam, as it would be. What else do we have to talk about here? Beyond that, they're technically wise, a lot of they're definitely using the same engine that they were using with X and Y. So graphically, it's going to look the same, which is alright because it looked really good with X and Y. Of course, I never had a problem with the sprites either, but whatever. The towns, like Boss Deep City, looks really nice. It's one of those cities that I can't quite remember, but like they've done a lot to it to really make it look cool in 3D. Like when you go to the Space Center that's there, there's like this little landing where you can get like this perfect, like the camera will pan over when you get to the edge of it, and you can see like a perfect view of the spaceship. That's like the rocket that they have there to launch. So like they do nice little touches like that, which really makes me excited to see the rest of the game, because there's definitely going to be like a lot of landmarks they'll be able to focus the camera on, especially down in 3D, that they can do that. And I mean, if you played X and Y, they did that quite a few times in a lot of bits and pieces there, and it'll be really interesting to see how they work in a lot of the various maze-esque puzzles that were present in Ruby and Sapphire, the 3D engine and whatnot, because it definitely will play differently. It'll be really interesting to see how truthful and exact they'll be with it as well when it comes to the map layout, or if they'll change a couple things because they can, and they have like that kind of space and the technology that they can do a couple of interesting things. Speaking of interesting things, one of the things I really loved about Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald is that you can have those bases that you like create, that you can find, like you'd find like an area and you can create a base in it, and you can set all these items up in them and like make your own little like awesome room essentially. And of course they're bringing that back, which is so awesome. That's like it's a really silly feature that, like, I remember playing like Ruby and Sapphire, really didn't mean anything except for like a way for your friends to face you in battles and whatnot. But the fact that it's there is really cool, and it's going to be really interesting to see how they'll utilize that with, you know, online capabilities and whatnot, and like how they'll play a central role, and perhaps maybe make the rooms a little bit bigger. I remember that was like one of the big problems I had with it, is that there was never enough space to work with, because you would be like, oh man, I want to make like all these crazy designs and whatnot, like create a really fun little maze or whatever, and there's never enough room. And especially with it being in 3D now, you can do that much more interesting things and whatnot. But I mean, that's just me. A lot of people probably just made like, oh, I'm going to show off this slide I got for my room in the Snorlax doll that's off in the corner. So, but that's really cool that they're bringing that back, and it'll be really neat to see how they implicate it with the online features. Hopefully really well. Fingers crossed on that. What else we got to talk about here? There was something that they were showing in the trailer, and I wanted to mention it, and it's gonna bug the freaking... Pikachu cosplays. I don't know what the hell that's about. I know in X and Y you can like dress your characters up and have them wear like various clothing to kind of make them your own character, which is obviously a really cool idea to kind of make your character feel like your own and not just like this standy, you know, this standard like model base, especially with the 3D models, to make it look more interesting. And of course they brought that back, but from the looks of it, you can have your Pikachu dress up as well. And I don't know if it's just exclusive to Pikachu's, the Pokemon Pikachu, or if they'll like have a couple other ones that you can like throw things on. But I think it might just be something that Pikachu can do. And maybe it might make the contest feature seem a little more interesting than just like, my Pokemon has a pink bow that you can't see. Or just the... Or if I recall correctly, I think they just arbitrarily, like, placed it on the fucking Pokemon. Like, even if it didn't make sense where it was placed, they just did it. I can't remember. That was from Diamond or Pearl, and fuck that game. What else? Team battles, of course, back. There's nothing really else to talk about, other than I'm really excited for this game. It's just really unfortunate that the date that it comes out on is the November 21st, which is the same day, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have November's calendar up yet. It's the same day as Super Smash Bros. On the Wii, so I could definitely expect the sales not to quite meet the standards of Pokemon, because they're releasing on a day when a much, much bigger Nintendo game is being released, and more people are probably way more excited for Smash Bros. Than a remake of Pokemon. Which is unfortunate. Well, it makes sense, but of course, you know, Pokemon's really cool and all. But that's the world we live in, I guess. But I'm definitely excited to play you know, Omega Ruby or the Sapphire remake or whatever. Not sure what version I'm gonna get. I know, probably go with Ruby, considering that's the one I grew up with more. But that's a digression for another day. Yeah, there's nothing else to really talk about. Other than the fact that it looks like it's going to be a really good remake, which is, of course, no surprise. Anytime they've remade the past games, I didn't get a chance to play the Gold and Silver remake, but I heard it was really good, especially with the Pokemon step monitor that they gave with it. Apparently, that was a really cool feature. What was the other one? Oh yeah, Leaf Green and Fire Red was obviously really awesome when that came out. So this is going to be definitely really cool. It'll be interesting to see how they work things in, because I remember like Pokemon like Rayquaza, sorry, was not catchable in Ruby and Sapphire, if I recall correctly. It was something that was only in Emerald, because I think he was first introduced in Emerald. So it'll be interesting to see what they'll do with features that were exclusive in Emerald, and if they'll like have them in this remake, or if they're gonna just, you know, not bother touching them at all. It's kind of the same thing when they talked about the Gold and Silver remake, so it was like, what about Crystal? Crystal was the best version! Give me Clear Crystal, that's the version I want. Fuck Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Clear Crystal. But I digress again. So, yeah, this special demo, really cool. I guess through multiple playthroughs of the special demo, you get some more items. I'm not sure if there's going to be a regular demo. Probably will. Like, sometime a week after this thing was released, they'll probably do it. Maybe. Who knows? So, yeah, that's all I have to talk about. So, with that all said and done, until next time, keep on gaming.